The movement must continue. See, we let it go to sleep. This movement's got to be woke up again.
What's up, Plug family? My name is Renee Unique. We unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. And I am so thrilled to have Kimberly Cecil Jones in the house with me. First, before we go into what we're going to discuss today, first I want to say happy Derby. It has been a beautiful week and the weather has been awesome. I know you guys have been out there partying, the festivals, the concerts, the shows, a little bit of everything that's been going on. The Chow Wagon parade. I mean, the city has been lit. But I'm going to tell you exactly who I am sitting next to if you do not know who Kimberly Cecil Jones. And if you don't, you're really missing out on this phenomenal powerhouse woman, beautiful woman. She has it going on. She has it going on. She has been doing a lot in this city, not only in the city, but multiple different, her platform, her career, the experience that she has brought here today on the Plug. I want to tell, look, we're going to go back. We're going to go back a little bit. So we're going to go back a little bit. That's how excited I am because I am just, tongue twisted at this time. Like I said, she's involved in community activism, politics, the Jones Report, correct? Mm-hmm. Got the magazine going on. So can you tell everybody exactly? I tried, I wanted to brag a little bit. I feel like the little sister, the little sister, like, oh, look into the house. Oh my God, she just came in.
I paid her to say all that. You want the $20 now? Or do you want it later? My purse is here on the floor. I can,
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a little different for me because I'm so used to being the interviewer and not being the interviewee. So this is different. Yeah. So I like to talk. I'm Chatty Cathy. So, you can be like, Kim, hold on. I want to ask you a question. Okay. So who I am, I'm a mom of 2 children, 34 and 31. So that makes me what? Middle-aged now?
And black don't crack. Because I was not expecting her to say 34 and 31. Black don't crack. She's wearing her age well.
So my daughter is a captain in the Air Force, and she does phenomenal things. Mm-hmm. And then my son, he's a celebrity fashion stylist, and he does very good. So now I'm guessing I'm trying to figure out what I want to do now that they don't, they still need me. Like, Mom, what do you think I should do on this or that? But, I don't have to financially compensate them anymore. They do very well. Matter of fact, their credit is perfect. But mine got a little tainted so they could have perfect credit, right? So, I have been involved in politics since I was 7 years old. My mom, now that was the real powerhouse, the late Barbara Brown. And then I was always into it because she was into it, but I didn't know I was really paying attention, right? And I'm so glad I had those experiences when I was young. I remember she woke me up out of the bed and told me to look at Richard Nixon. Yeah, I'm giving my age. And I'm sitting down, on her carpet. She's sitting on the side of her bed, and she's telling me to look at this. I mean, like, who is he and why am I looking at this? Right. And why did you get me up out of the bed to look at this? Mm-hmm. But now when I look back, I'm glad I had those in the moment memories of like major American history.
Right. And that's the thing is just knowing your history, knowing our history and why we are traveling the way that we're traveling. And just, so tell me, how did the Jones Report, how did you go into the Jones Report?
Well, there was a friend of mine at that time, and we always said we were going to do some type of show. Right. And she would say to me, Kimberly, your passion is really politics. And it always has been. I guess it's in my DNA. Right. 2016, I was working for Hillary Clinton for president.
Oh, wow.
And I had foot surgery, so I had to do like some radio interviews, things like that, because I couldn't really get around. And so I was an executive with Macy's at the time. In 2017, when I returned back to work, that was the year they laid off 10,000 people, and they called it being displaced. However, I got a really big severance, and they told me to go and apply for unemployment immediately. So that's how I kind of got started. I'm like, hey, I'm not working. I'm okay. I got some money. Let's get it rolling. And that's how we started. And it was really, truly because of Trumpism.
Right. And but you've met a lot of people. I've watched the show. She has a lot of famous people, celebrities, and politicians that come on your show. So can you name one person on your show that just stood out from the rest, that you were excited about? You were just like...
Well, this one particular individual is not what you want to call famous per se. However, he is internationally known. And when we were talking on the radio at that time, we were doing terrestrial radio at that time, we had him on, and I was determined I was going to meet him. He had a speaking engagement at the Louisville Public Library. So I go and I say, you're going to be on my show? He never heard of it. It's okay. You heard of it now. And his name was Dr. Charles Ziegler. He's a fellow, and he is a scholar, as they call in the educational system at universities. And he is a Russian expert when it comes to Russian history and Russian politics. So I had him on the show, and from that moment on, we developed a friendship. And he's the executive director of a organization, and he invited me to come to a luncheon as his guest, and he introduced me in this room, and I never forget, it was at Vincenzo's.
I've been at Vincenzo's. Oh, Vincenzo's.
And that's one of my, it used to be one of my favorite places. Not so much anymore, but hey, Vincenzo's. If you're looking. You know how you can walk into a room and you can smell money? And the only thing I could think was, there's money in this room. And he offered me to join the organization, which I did. And the organization is called the Committee of Foreign Relations. And our corporate entity in Washington, D.C. is called the Council of Foreign Relations, which people call the Illuminati. And I said, well,
so how did they get, we're going to talk about this. We're going to break, because I want to know a little bit about this. How do they, this council and this Illuminati, what, the things that people come up with is very interesting. But I'm telling you, Kim has a backstory. I want to hear more. Just listening and learning from her and being around her and just on her wing, I'm blessed. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
Want your brand or business featured on The Plug? Advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.
All right, guys, we're back. And look, you know what? I got my Jada Pinkett hairdo going on for the Derby. So it's a little bit, you know, a little stylish today. But again, thank you for tuning in. I'm Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. I have Kimberly Cecil Jones here with the Jones Report. And we are talking about some interesting things. I'm talking about politics, and so before we went on break, let's wrap that up. And because you got a lot of other things going on too, you got the magazines and all these. You got some dope stuff going on. So, but I want to know about, you know, we kind of finish up the conversation we were talking about.
Oh, about the group
Dr.
that I belong
Ziegler.
to.
Am I saying his name right?
Yes, Dr. Charles Ziegler.
Okay.
And like I said, he's the executive director of the Louisville Committee of Foreign Relations. And we answer to, of course, in D.C., the Council of Foreign Relations. A lot of people may know Mr. Robert Haas. He's always on MSNBC. He's one of the people there at the corporate branch, I should say. So people always say, Kim, that's the Illuminati. That's Illuminati. And I'm like, you know what? If they're illuminating anything, they haven't illuminated me on it yet. I don't know what. I haven't seen anybody doing the Illuminati stuff.
Well, Illuminati, the good talk, the good trouble, is that what they mean? Sometimes people like us, we create the good trouble, and people don't agree with the good trouble that we cause because we are encouraging, empowering other people, right? And that's what Kim stands for and represent. And also the magazine you got going on?
Well, I am not the owner of the magazine.
Okay.
Tops Louisville actually publishes the new Black magazine called Inspire Black Louisville.
Yes.
And so, you know, right now it's kind of new. It only comes out once every 3 months. And we're hoping to move into maybe once every other month and then finally get to every month. So we want to display Black people in Louisville that maybe you may not know, just like you're talking to me today. Some people may know me, but they don't really know me. I'm sure of it, you know. And so this is an opportunity to go ahead and give some unsung heroes some accolades, right? And then also mix it up with some people that you know, some trailblazers. So,
and see, I love this. I love this. It's about support, encouragement. I love this. Just pushing one another to be the best that they can be. And that's what you do, because you're a motivational speaker too. At the Women's Empowerment Conference, you got down.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
yes,
man, I don't feel like I got down.
But you're comfortable in front of the TV and radio and talking to other women and talking to everyone. I mean, you're comfortable with that.
I'm not nervous right now, but after we finish, I'll be shaking like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, I've always been like that, with that mentality, growing up in a Navy family, so to speak, back and forth from Zion, Illinois to here to Louisville, Kentucky. You know, it's that, you know, you're the captain of the ship, make sure everything's okay with everyone else on the ship, and then you can go head on and break down later. Is basically how that went. So I'm just that type of person. Like, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Everybody else is like, when I took my mom off of life support back in 2009, you know, it was very dramatic to see, you know, the numbers just keep going down, 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 you know, until it was like, you know, that noise, that I call it that noise because it was very I don't know really the I don't know the verbiage to really tell you, but it was hard. My mom was 61, and the day before we were talking like you and I. So she had been sick, of course, but, death, that wasn't a thought for me. So, I go out, they're having a vigil out there, all her friends and people that have supported her, and she supported them. And, I'm out there hugging them, consoling them. And they're like breaking down in my arms, and I'm keeping it all together until basically after we had my mom's service and I got her house cleaned out and then it was all done and I was at home with nothing to do. That's when I had my moment. And it probably comes from that military side. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have our moments, and sometimes you have your good days and bad days, and sometimes we're in control, and sometimes our life just kind of get out of control.
Exactly.
And then, and having that experience and life experience and a military background, it helps you, it designs on who you are today. So you have also been, the pageants, right? Were you in a pageant? Look, I'm breaking out some of her secrets, some of the past things that she was in. Maybe I shouldn't have said it, but she was a pageant. She was in a pageant.
Yes. And I was going through a very bad divorce at that time. And accounts were frozen, different things of this nature were going on. And so a friend of mine filled out the paperwork. And somebody calls me, and I don't know what the ham sandwich they're talking about, right? Like, what, huh? And I was like, well, I'll just do it. What else am I doing? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
So, and, I won, and then I went to the state and won that. And then that year was the 10th anniversary of the Miss Plus America pageant. And went on to that. Didn't have any money, rode on a Greyhound to get there. We stopped in Indianapolis, and I'm like, isn't somebody going to transfer my luggage to the other bus we got to get on? No, you had to do it yourself. And I had all this luggage, everything. I didn't even have enough money to pay for the entire week.
Oh, wow.
One of those days, I didn't even have anything to eat. Something happened to my gas. It was just a lot, right? And everybody, their anxiety is high when you're doing those type of things. But the only thing was my saving grace, which is always 50%.
Yes.
50% of your scores, okay, is going to be your interviews. You got, like, I had 7 people, white, black, LGBT, all this. And you can't sit there and be concerned about making everything right, what you think they want to hear. You have to be honest, and you have to defend what you believe and stand on what you believe. So I aced the interviews. That's how that went down.
You know what? So we're going to go on break. And then our last segment, I have a couple questions for you.
Wait a minute, you said we're going to break dance?
Yeah, well, no, we're not going to break. No, we're not going to. Look, I can't even double dutch right now, let alone do any type of break dance. I mean, I could do, some electric slide and some other things. But we're going to go on break, and we're going to come back. Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
Want your brand or business featured on the plug? Advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.
We're back, guys, and thank you for tuning in with me again on Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. And I was talking to Kim on break when we was talking about a couple of things. And as I was listening to her, all the accolades and all the beautiful things that has happened to her in her life, and I'm sitting back and I'm just watching and I'm listening and I'm just, you as a black woman, as black women, and who you are and where you at today and what you've been through, God has kept you.
Oh, I mean,
He has kept you.
There was a case here in Louisville. It was the Commonwealth versus, and I can say the name, it's public record, Marshall Quisenberry. And actually, it was the first time in the state of Kentucky they got a full conviction on a domestic case where we knew each other like that. And so he broke into my home and he did the most unmentionable things to me and stabbed me and left me for dead. And but I got out of it. The only thing about it, when I came back to my house, nobody told me, like, you got to clean this mess up. So, you know, I go back to the house, you know, after I get well and everything. This is about maybe 2 months later. I finally go back to the house. And boy, did it look like what it was, an actual crime scene, but you would have thought that somebody got butchered up and died. It was blood everywhere. And then, you know, I'm like, why isn't this cleaned up now? But just so if anybody doesn't know, if anything happens in your home, you are responsible to clean that up. So I didn't know that.
So that's something I think we need to start pushing. If I'm a victim, I've been violated, I've been raped, and beaten in my own home, and someone violates me, trespass, break in, you're telling me that I have to clean up my own crimes? I have to clean up the evidence. You're going back home. Not, it's trauma already, but going back into that is... Why do they do that? What is wrong with our laws? This is why there is the Jones Report and Unite Louisville and the Plug, Black Media. You know, what is wrong with our legislation and our laws and policies? Does this even make any sense? The insensitivity and the cruel things. Does this even make any sense?
Well, you know, we called a service, thank God. You know, my family paid for a service to come in and clean up and all those things. But back then, we didn't have the stalking laws that we do today. And also, this is another thing that,
Thank
you know,
God we
I
have them
think
now.
some of our legislation should, you know, what we call our lawmakers, they are the ones that make the laws, and the judges go by the law.
Right.
Okay. And one thing was, while he was in prison, he did 14 years. That's more than what they give some murderers, because I stayed on top of it.
Okay.
But one thing is, we have an open records law here in the Commonwealth. And that means that anybody can retrieve records of you, records that are privy if they're asked upon. So a person could be in prison. You were the victim. And they can ask.
They can still research your information and where you live. And
he actually went to the county clerk's office. Well, he didn't go. He was in prison. But he actually asked for records that they could provide. With corrections, he asked for records. Oh, but God, He had an angel each place. I will not say any names because I don't want to harm anybody, but they knew my mom and they saw my name come across and they called my mom, and some things were just taken care of.
Yeah.
Just like how my mom knew some of the judges, that type of thing. There was gag orders, so you didn't really hear about it in the news. But it is, for public consumption. The Commonwealth versus Marshall Quisenberry.
So, Kim, how can we support you and your cause? It sounds like we got a lot of work to do. It sounds like we should be helping to push and be advocates for women, or victims, period.
I believe that. And we've come a long way since, like I'm way older than you, right? We already established that. Like, I'm your elder, right?
She is not my elder. Don't say that.
I am though.
She's just older by a couple of years, but she's not my elder.
A couple, girl. Let's put it like this, girl. I was graduating middle school when you were born. But the thing of it is, there are much better laws because this happened in the 90s. And the scary thing is, I don't know actually if it was the Innocence Project, but it was maybe the Innocence Project or another organization that did the same thing. They actually came to Louisville and wanted to retrieve evidence, things like that. You don't get evidence back.
Right.
Like, that was my favorite towel. I couldn't even get it back. My knives and everything. He used my own knives in my butcher block.
Oh my God. So look.
So then, they didn't have these stalking laws.
Right.
They were basically like, there's nothing really we could do unless, we see him trying to do something to you.
Right.
EPOs back then weren't as effective and followed through like they are today.
And thank God for the nonprofit organizations that are out here and people that are advocating for the untold stories. And that's what you do on the Jones Report, right? And we're talking about the Black Louisville Inspired magazine, the untold stories, bringing the truth and the platform to the forefront. And Kim, you've done some amazing things throughout the years, and you continue to do that. And how can people connect with you and your show and support what you're doing? And you have a website or page or social media page?
Well, people can go to the Facebook page at this point called the Jones Report Radio Program. Okay. And then on Wednesday nights, I also co-host on another podcast, and it's by the organization is Progress Kentucky. I'm the vice president, but we're trying to make Kentucky purple.
Purple as in what? Before we end
You mix red and blue, you get purple.
Well, damn.
We too red.
Right, you're right.
I mean, we are just too red. That's why we can't get anything done here. I'm going to tell you, this is a racist state. Extremely racist. I have no problem saying that. I have no problem telling the truth. But the one thing that I can say is that I know our governor personally, and he is for all of the constituency of Kentucky, but he does have a place in his heart for his African American, or what we want to call our Black constituency. Remember, he said all Black people, we should have free health care. He meant that. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't a lie. He meant that.
So you know what? We have so much to talk about. Sometimes I remind myself that the show's only 30 minutes, but we're connected, and you guys can follow her on the Jones Report. She gave her information, but we're out here. It is Derby time. Have a safe weekend. Have fun. Hopefully you win some money at the Derby. Right?
Ooh,
so
girl,
I know we'll be extremely busy. We're going to be everywhere, right? And when we were talking about politics, vote. The primaries are right around the corner. And thank you for tuning in again with Renee and my guest, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
Want your brand or business featured on the Plug? Advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.